Your layout may look like something like this. All you want to do is just close that and drag this. I like to keep it around here a little bit to where I can see my keyframe. That's not what we'll be doing today. If you want a video, you just open your file, go to where your recordings are, and so we found the video that we want. We just drag it and drop. Okay. And then we take this, drag it and drop here. At the bottom right, you'll have a little media thing, and it's just going to do all your audio tracks. And it's going to give you kind of like a wave. You can see it's starting to load. Alright, we have our video, and now what I'm going to do is right click on the timeline on the video, hit unlink, and here you can mess with the audio if it's too loud or too quiet. What I like to do is, if you go to wherever your effects are and just type hard limiter, it should be under amplitude and compression. Drag that to whatever video track you want, and up here in your effect control, it'll show up. You gotta click on the audio track with it on, and if it's like this, just click the arrow and under custom setup hit edit, and say you want it at a -30. Just -30. Now that audio track will stay at -30. We'll solo. Control and Z will undo it. Control, Shift, and Z will bring that back. You go into your effects, not effect controls, but effects, and look up color. It'll be lumimetry color. And you can see it shows up here in your effect controls. But we want to get a little more in depth. So we'll go to window and we'll look for lumimetry color under libraries. Click it. And I don't really care for it being over there, so I'm going to drag it, drop it there. We have a side by side, and with most videos, basic correction. So you can kind of see this video looks a little washed out. What we'll do is go to contrast and move it slightly. That's too much. This is where kind of up to you to decide. This is washed out like this. There's no denying that that's just, there's not enough color, there's not enough contrast. 34 is looking okay. Any higher than that I don't think looks good. So then I'm going to click on basic correction. It's going to close the tab, and I'm going to open up creative. And you can go with saturation or vibrance. I prefer vibrance, but I will do about 40 and kind of play it to see how that looks. And I think that really looks good. What you want to do after you get all your audio and your video, you can right click after selecting everything by pressing Ctrl A or just dragging from an empty space in the timeline. Right click, link, and you can go ahead and start cutting your video. Your best friend here is going to be the selection tool and the razor tool. So V is the selection tool and C is the razor tool. So the razor tool cuts clips. As you can see, it's leaving little gaps in the videos. And so say I wanted to go from that leaves a lot of kind of empty space is the way I prefer to say it. So instead of doing the whole walking up and then hearing them. Go to right before my teammate talk, and again, C to cut, V to select. You can press backspace or delete, and then you can drag your clip. And so we'll have it go from here to a different place in the clip or the video. So I want to skip to this, so I press C to cut it, left click, V, select the part that I want to erase, backspace or delete, and then I just drag the clip. Now there is a thing where your clips might do this. Some people prefer your clips, or some people prefer the clips to do that. I don't know what to call it, so I'll just call it ghosting because it goes into the other clip. So if you don't want it to do that, press S and it'll go back to snapping. And so we'll cut it there, and that will be our pretend video. This is what you call a jump cut, to where it just kind of abruptly smacks you into the next clip. Video transitions. Click the little arrow. Now my two favorite ones are dissolve and wipe. It literally is just wipe, nothing else. And so on the dissolve, click the arrow, and I mean, you can mess with these, but these are the ones that I really use a lot. And so what you want to do is drag and drop in between. And if you're wanting to zoom in on a certain part of the video, I'd recommend doing is just moving this and then expanding the timeline and then pinching in, and it puts you right on that right there. And on your effect controls, it'll show you can click show actual sources, and you can see the wipe. You can kind of move it halfway and then see what that looks like. And this is what is called a border width. So right here would be where the border is. So say I want I guess a gray border would be, so we'll go with a 15% gray border. You can select the drop tool and do that. You can reverse it, but so like a dumbass, I deleted the clip where I was telling you how to import the text. Alright, depending on what tool you have selected, just click anywhere on an empty space, click T, and it should highlight the type tool. Then click on your program and you'll see the red. That means you're ready to type. So we start the text here. In your it'll be in your effect controls and text. If it looks like this, don't worry, just click T and now you can type. So I say never right here. So click text and then click this drop down arrow, and you can change the font. You can change bold letters, size of them, whole bunch of shit that I don't want to get into. What you mainly need to know is this fill. That's just what color the text is going to appear. I usually do like a very light blue, or sometimes I'll go purple. And if you really want to get fancy with it, you can click shadow and check mark it, and then I like to do just like the pure black and then do 100% on that. So if your text is red, that means you're basically editing the text. So click V, the select tool, and you can move it around. But if you want it to be centered, you can hold control while dragging it around, and it'll show you the horizontal and vertical line of the video. And so I want the text to be right there. I don't know, kind of hard to see shadow because of the color. So I'll do like a very harsh shadow. You can kind of see the shadow there. It's very hard to see in this clip, and I completely dropped the ball. Never see me here. And also, if you click V and it shows up here, just click somewhere like on your project or just an empty space. Maybe just click the effect control and then press V and then click back on the text. You see how I just have never? If you hold Alt, left click and drag up, you'll have a copy of that. If you edit this copy, it does not change the first one. So if I click T and change that to C, it'll have the shadow and everything. And then so I want another one, so I'll make another copy. So then we click T, delete that, me here. And so now you got a perfect copy and it's in the same place. It's a lot easier if you do it that way instead of making a bunch of different ones. If that makes sense. But once you're done editing the video, what you can do is go to the end of your clip, press O, and then go to the start of your clip and press I. Go to the top left, File, Export, Media, and I'll make sure these two things are checked. Render at maximum depth and use maximum render quality. Now, before everybody fucking flips their table, starts sucking on titties, it'll look like this. All you want to do, I know it's gonna be hard. Left click the video tab. Quality, and I think the default for 1080 is like 50 megabits. Click location and select wherever you want to export it, and then at the bottom right click export, and boom, there is your video. I mean, it's a process and it takes time. It takes time for longer videos. Like, this took about 3, maybe 4 hours just to edit, and then you got the render time and stuff. Hopefully this was a very basic understanding and I explained everything well. Hope you guys have a good one. Peace out.